communities, and we need it for jobs.
Order. I call the honourable member for Goldstein.
Thank you, Deputy Speaker. And Deputy Speaker, it's a privilege to be able to speak on this motion, which is one of the most significant challenges that we face, not just as a country but as a global community. The challenges of climate change are an existential threat to the health and viability of people and of the planet overall. But it is important to make sure that we focus on what it is we can do in making sure that we confront that challenge. There's no community that is unaffected. Even the federal electorate of Goldstein, even though we're only 55 square kilometres in the metropolitan part of Melbourne, we face the challenges every day of the impact of sea levels and what it does to coastal erosion and the importance of our viable and most beautiful Port Phillip. We have challenges, like many communities do, around the urban heat island effect and the importance of developing and investing in urban canopy to be able to make our community more resilient against the challenges of a changing climate and, of course, what that means for water management. And we see that locally in the efforts that are being made with councils in areas from waste reduction through to the investment in our local flora and fauna and parkland. And, of course, it's of utmost importance as an issue that reminds us of the importance of acting purposefully and with focus. Of course, the Prime Minister has said today, rightly, that if, in the context of COVID-19, there is no solution that is based on Australia just protecting itself and then not taking concern for other countries and what they do, both in aid and supporting them, but asking them to accept their responsibility too. Australia must accept our responsibility. Responsibility belongs at home. The principle of stewardship starts by people taking responsibility, and it happens in terms of people taking responsibility for getting themselves vaccinated and their community getting vaccinated when it comes to COVID-19 and cutting greenhouse gas emissions in the context of Australia as well as other countries who seek to do so. And we should encourage them to do so. But as responsible legislators, we have to make choices. And we have to make choices understanding the urgency and the challenges that we face and making sure that we have a plan that has integrity. We often get told, well, you know, we just want Australia to commit to net zero. Well, the matter is, under the Abbott government, we committed to net zero in the second half of this century. In the Abbott government, that was done. What we are seeking to do as a government, and we should do, is develop a plan of integrity to deliver that. And I regularly talk to constituents about this important issue, and periodically I hold listening posts, as many members no doubt do throughout their community. I held one in Hyde a few months ago, and a young woman came to me to talk to me about the importance of climate change and the impact she saw for herself and for her family. But once we got through it and we got through the issues that she wanted to raise, and I said, OK, well, what is it you're looking to do about it? Because she had very strong opinions on what the government was doing, and we are doing a lot, and we'll get to that, and asked her what she wanted, and her solution was that she wanted a carbon tax, just like Labor and Greens, when they were in coalition previously, had introduced. And I made it clear that one of the most important things to drive climate change policy is to make sure that it's sustainable policy, not to be introduced on the basis of a lie and not to be done against the will of the Australian people. Because what we are seeking to do as this government is drive reform that takes the Australian people with us, where the next generation of Australians don't see climate change just as a threat, but as an opportunity where we get to build the future of this country and build a sustainable economic future for the future of this country. And that's why the focus squarely is on what we can do around technological development and deployment to build the future of Australia, so that we're not driving an agenda as the Labor and the Greens and other political parties may want to do, which is a trade-off between the economy and the environment, but how we can use the economy and the environment to enhance and build the potential for the building of the future of Australia. And that's why the technology roadmap has been so critically important, because what it focuses on is what we can actually do to cut emissions and create jobs, where we can invest resources to build the job opportunities for the future of Australia while also cutting our greenhouse gas emissions. And one of the best things about it is that we're focused in a technology-neutral way so that we can harness the power of science and technology to build that future. And whether it's the investment in hydrogen or, of course, in hydroelectric power, solar PV cells, battery technology, or technology that's still experimental and still need time to mature, we are prepared to back it every step of the way, because that is how you deliver sustainable policy and that is how you take the Australian people with you.
The honourable member for Macquarie.